All right, what's going on, guys? It's been a minute. I think it's about like 2 weeks or so. But in this video, man, I want to talk about becoming the man first before the lifestyle. I think a lot of people get this kind of feeling of, you know, looking at the lifestyle, but not really understanding the person behind it. The person and the mindset that he has, and the way he thinks, and the way he operates on the day-to-day basis to acquire that lifestyle. I think people look at the rewards rather than the habits. So a lot of times, you know, people don't look at the habits as far as day to day. Take it for you, for example. What time do you wake up? What's it like before going to work? Do you always seem like it's rushed? Or does it seem like you're always late? Or does it always feel like even during work you're always behind? Always being behind, always having to keep up, always having to catch up. You're not proactive whatsoever. And it feels like that's basically how the whole day goes. Where it's like, look at the person that you're seeing on whether it's social media, and let's not get to the point where it's like, oh, that's fake and all that. No, no, no. Let's just break it down to the simple principle of what habits for a certain person that you're watching. Let's say who you inspire to be, or you get some sort of inspiration in the way their lifestyle is. You have to ask yourself, what are the habits that are taken in place on a day to day for this person? How does this person operate on a day to day? And most of the times, the people that you see that are successful have a similar routine in terms of habits. As far as waking up early, journaling, eating healthy, taking their fitness goals seriously. Um, what else is there? Just being proactive, having a schedule, having a calendar of day to day tasks. Those are the things you kind of have to develop along the way of becoming that person before getting the lifestyle. Because it's just like, those aren't done for no reason. They're simply not. They're not just doing that, and it's just like, oh, like, this is just my morning routine and all that stuff. And quite frankly, I'm not saying you got to wake up early, all that stuff, but it's more so just, what actions do you need to take to become the person that you strive to be? From take it back to me in middle school, there was a lot of things, there were a lot of habits I did when it came to sports that I necessarily didn't like, but it got me to achieve certain goals within the sport. During middle school, my dad used to wake me up around 4 or 5 a.m. to go do 5 mile runs. You think that shit was fun? You think I woke up every time doing that shit thinking, oh man, like this is great, while everyone's sleeping, gets to wake up maybe 30 minutes before the bus comes, and I'm over here waking up 2 hours early to do 5 miles in middle school? You think I was fucking happy doing that shit? Fuck no. But the thing is, that habit, doing that early on, got me to the point where I actually got recruited 2 years later, full ride and everything, running a mile under 5 minutes, doing 10, 18, 2 miles in an invitational. And honestly, I'll be honest with you guys, like, the only reason I didn't get in was because I didn't pass the SATs. So school wasn't really my strong suit, but as far as working hard and doing doing all the habits that it took to, get myself there and put myself in that position, oh, 100% I was that dude. as far as work ethic and all that stuff, like I can guarantee you, like I know a lot about it. Now maybe I should have applied the split same methods to when it came to the books, but you get the point. There were certain habits that I needed to establish for myself and do it on a day-to-day basis to acquire the thing that I wanted, to put myself in the position to where when I had the opportunity, I had an advantage towards that because I started early on. And it's the same thing when it comes to being the man first and taking on the habits, whether whatever it needs to be done, whether you're always going to work late and you got to sleep in early just so you're on time. And then maybe next week, as far as your day to day when it comes to work, you start being proactive, you start asking questions. And with those questions, it's more intel, more info that of what you need to do, maybe to get that promotion. Or maybe you're just sick and tired of the job, you're putting in that work, and you have to come up with a game plan to be like, all right, I need to get what do I need to do for these next months to get myself out of this situation? And then you look at your day to day, what you're doing, all that stuff. And even then, with that example right there, you can't just treat the job as far as just like even worse than the way you positioned yourself. Because if you're lazy there and you come up with a game plan, but you still want to half-ass a lot of shit, wherever you go next, you're still gonna half-ass shit. So if anything, you got to switch the mindset, which will be my next point. But you got to switch the mindset to being like, okay, how do I get myself out of this situation? And then from there, you got to be like, okay, have I been half-assing as far as my work, showing up late, not asking questions? All right, I need to switch my mindset into order to be one of the top workers there and figure out somewhere different or get myself out in a different position, or maybe start that business that I've been yearning to do for years. I have to switch my mindset to being like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be the hardest worker here. I'm gonna save my bread. I'm gonna be proactive. I'm not gonna be late. I'm gonna show up on time every time. And once I get myself into a position where I can finally leave, I know that the person I became throughout that process is ready to take on this next challenge as far as a new job or a new environment, or maybe maybe just a different line of work. But you had to become the person in that mo- in that space and in that spot that you're at. You have to mold yourself to become the person that takes on that next phase. And again, it brings me to a point of mindset. Whether it's business, whether it's places you're at, whether it's going on that date. Another thing is the mindset. So when it came in my situation, when it came to actually doing my business, learning a lot of back end stuff, and just seeing like what can I improve on, what do I need to do on the day-to-day basis. I had to look at everything I do within my life, as far as working out, as far as staying on my diet, as far as even just outside activities that I did outside of that. The most valuable thing you got to realize, guys, is time is your most valuable asset. Time. We all have, I preach it on this channel all the time, we all have the same 24 hours within a day. So whatever we do in it counts. But time is always against us, but it's up to us when it comes to making decisions and understanding, like, am I wasting my time doing this? Like, really? Am I in the position to be doing this? And That's something that also has to be developed in as you become the person that you need to be in order to have that certain lifestyle. So when you look at going out on the weekends in the bars and stuff like that, it's like, is there anything beneficial to doing this activity? Ask yourself that. Is there anything beneficial in doing this activity? You know, a lot of people say, oh, I'm just, I had a long week of work and, I'm just here to celebrate. What are we celebrating though? Mediocrity? What are we celebrating? Hard work? Where most people, if anything, probably work harder and are probably in worse positions, but you don't see them doing that. Or maybe opposite, maybe they're in the best position and they're still not doing that. You got to ask yourself, okay, why? If people are doing this in terms of pleasure and short-term gain, what's the real benefit? There's none. There really isn't any. And when it comes to just certain things like, let's say, making an investment in yourself, when you always think, let's say, when it comes to money, and you say, like, okay, man, I really want to make this an investment. I know it'll change my life. But you're always thinking of it in the money aspect of, I don't know if I got that, or that seems a lot. When you never like spent that amount, right? It's like, that's just a mindset thing. That's just a mindset thing because it's like you're doing other activities that probably cost more and you're spending a lot more throughout the months than an investment that's going to change your life fully. So when people talk about, oh, I don't have enough money and stuff like that, it's like, if you look around and check those bank statements and see what you're kind of spending your money on, you come to understanding that you're not prioritizing your future, or you're not prioritizing like what life will look like in the long term. You're still thinking about what about now, what, I don't have enough, I don't have enough, and you're feeding that in your head, when it's like, in reality, if you keep telling yourself you don't have enough, you'll never have enough. You'll never have enough. So when it comes to bringing back to my point as far as investment and stuff like that, you have to look at it, obviously do your research too, but you have to look at it and be like, okay, I did enough research. I know it costs this much. I understand the benefits along it, and truly this really fits with me, and I understand that the money I'm paying, I'm getting the most value out of it, and I know it will change my life. When you switch your mindset into thinking that way, and you realize the bullshit that you have to cut out in order to change your life, oh, you'll have no problem making that investment. Because if anything, once you switch that mindset to understanding that, you'll start to realize, oh, I'll make that shit back anyways. 10 times. But that comes with a mindset shift. And kind of another point I want to bring up when it comes to becoming the man is taking the actions. Taking the steps on a day-to-day basis to understand that, okay, I understand that these certain individuals take steps into waking up early, meditating, cutting out the vices, understanding that there comes with a mindset shift of, okay, is this benefiting me long term? Is this certain activity I'm doing right now, is it worth it, or am I just really wasting my time here? You take a chance and start making that business, or you think about getting into a business and you understand, okay, if I work 10 times harder in my current situation now, I'll become who I need to be, especially when I run this, because now you're operating at a different mindset. And as you're doing these steps along the way, you start to realize, like, okay, you know, I've been doing this for a while now. I've been doing activities that I actually enjoy and that serve me well because it puts me in a good state. It's not distracting. It's actually getting me to the lifestyle that I actually want. And as the months go, as the years go, you'll start looking around and you won't be surprised. And that's the biggest like factor like that you got to consider when it comes to taking on these actions and steps to becoming to getting the lifestyle you want. It's like you get there and you're not surprised. Because I'll throw another example. Let's say in terms of fitness, I give you you get the six pack, you have the best physique in the world, best physique in your life, but you don't know what it takes to really get there, to really hold on to that physique. You don't understand macros, you don't understand like how you can keep this physique while living a certain lifestyle, how to avoid how to avoid distractions, or how do you make adjustments to getting yourself back on track with that physique. You don't know any of that because you still have the same mindset when you didn't. Do you really think you'd be able to maintain that physique, maintain what it really takes to keep that with the same mindset that you have? I don't think so. Actually, I wouldn't say think so. I know so. I know you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't. So it's actually understanding that you have to become that person and learn and apply and adapt. Just be willing to be the student and then apply the actual knowledge being taught. And from there, when you do earn the physique, or you started that business and it's going well, you're not surprised because you already took the steps of becoming that person first before getting there. And that's what you have to realize when it comes to becoming the person first before achieving the lifestyle. Because then once you get there and you take those steps, you look around and you say, you know what? I deserve to be here. I understand what it took, what sacrifices needed to be made, and what I needed to do on a day-to-day basis in order to have this lifestyle that I have. I'm grateful, I'm blessed, but I'm not shocked either. I truly believe I did put in the work and I made the initial changes in order for me to have this lifestyle that I have. And that's kind of the message I wanted to bring out for today's video. But hey guys, it's been a minute, man. Glad to be back, and definitely look forward to making some videos along this week, so be on the lookout for that. And if you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video, man. Take care.